Hey folks, my name is Vivek. I'm a designer on the Analyst Studio team. So the use case which I have taken is data mashups, essentially combining Google Sheets data with data stored in a CDW to create unified analysis. So we all know that this problem is kind of there in all companies. You have teams which are using Google Sheets, which are using SharePoint or OneDrive or any other local drive, and they have lots of data there. But they also want to be able to connect this data with their CDW to generate insights on this unified data. So they have a couple of approaches. Maybe they can upload all of this data into CDWs, but then each time they will query, there will be a cost occurring to it. Secondly, you also don't want to put all of this data into a CDW. At times it is just for some ad hoc local analysis. So that's extra task on the analyst. And lastly, it also slows teams down, right? Because these teams are operating very fast. That's why they have data in local sheets. And going through CDW can also slow down that process. That's where Analyst Studio comes in. So Analyst Studio provides analysts with all the tools in a very fast environment where they can do all these tasks. They can query their CDW. They can import external data. Right now we support Google Sheets, but pretty soon we'll be supporting SharePoint, OneDrive, and CSV upload. It's almost, it's just coming very soon. Then analysts can combine these data sets using ThoughtSpot models, and then they can enable these models for their business users in Spotter, right? So they can go from disconnected or fragmented data to insights from Spotter in a very short span of time, right? So I'll go to the demo now. So I've taken like a small example here. So let's just say you are a product team who has done an NPS survey, and you have this NPS data in a Google Sheet, right? And you kind of want to create a unified view where you can see, okay, which customer is this, what is the customer contact for this particular customer, and other columns. Maybe you want to pull some columns from some other Salesforce tables as well, right? So what I'll do if I want to kind of unify this data, and I'll create like a simpler example here. So I'll go to ThoughtSpot and I'll go to Analyst Studio. I'll open that. It takes a few seconds at time. And I'll just click on this plus button and use the CT here. So I'll just go ahead and I'll upload a Google Sheet. And if your account isn't connected, then that's like a 2-click process. It will just ask you to authenticate your account. And once your account is authenticated, then you can just directly use any Google Sheet from your account. Right, so now I see, okay, this is the sheet. I will select the worksheet from here. And let's just say, I will call it NPS 2025 test data, and I'll just create a data set out of it. So it is creating data set. Now it's already there. And now if I go into editing this data, I can see that there's a publish option here. So if I click on this publish option here, this will ask me how do I want to publish it in Data Workspace? Do I want to change the name, or do I want to retain the same thing, etc. So for this particular demo, what I've already done is that I have saved this data into the Data Workspace already. So that's, for example, let's say now if I come to data set, I can already see that the test data set is already here. So now what I want is that I have my Google Sheet data here as a data set, but I also want some data from my warehouse. So what I'll do is that I'll go to Analyst Studio again, in just one click, I'll go write SQL. And maybe I can just search for an account. No, these are not the ones. Maybe I want to just take this particular simpler table for now. So let's just say I took this, right? And maybe I want to just make some things here. I don't need, let's say, these 2 columns here. I can format this correctly. I can change this to as customer name. I can change this to just to ensure that all fields which are related to customer are tagged as customer, right? So I think this, and I think ID is also, let's say, as customer ID. So these are just some basic things I've learned about SQL so far. So I'm just showing that off also. So now I'll run this again, and you will see that, okay, I have the data, right? And I'll just go ahead and I'll create a data set from this query. Let me remove this limit check first. Right, so now otherwise only 100 queries or 100 results will get saved. But if I remove this, or if I uncheck this, then all the results will get saved into the data set. So I click on this, and I'll just rename this as customer contact data set, right? And I'll also do this one single click here, which kind of sends this data set directly into Data Workspace, and I don't need to click anything else. I can also remove the limit function from here as well if I had forgotten before, and I just click on promote, and then it will start the workflow. Right, so you see that it is publishing dataset in Data Workspace. I've already done this dataset already for this demo preparation. For example, what you see here is you have NPS test dataset, and you also have the customer primary contact dataset now, right? So I have both the datasets. Do make sure that you check that the column type is correct, right? You don't want account ID to be measured. Similarly, you don't want, let's say, if I go into my customer primary contact, again, that these are all attributes, nothing is taken as a measure, right? So just verify these tiny details once. Then just click here and just select a model. So here you have the option to start from ThoughtSpot datasets. So I just click on next here, and it's pretty simple. These are all the datasets. I'll just drag and drop. I will create a join here. Oh, okay, so it's already kind of suggesting me a join. So let's say I'll accept recommended join. I can go and let's say edit join also. So now I can say that, okay, account ID, customer ID, perfect, left outer perfect, cardinality is 1-on-1, perfect, right? So my join is already created. I can go into columns, and I think for the purpose of this demo, I'll just drag all the columns here. Since we had cleaned our columns in Analyst Studio, I don't need to do anything here. So I'll just save these changes. And for this demo, I've already created this model earlier, so maybe I'll just exit this particular data model builder, right? And I'll just show you that the model which I have built. So this is the model which I have built already, and I've also enabled it for spotter, which is again just one click. So disable spotter. Right now it has been enabled for spotter, and I'll just go, and now let's see, I have this entire data set into one single model. Maybe okay, I'll start with this question. Right, show me accounts, customer contact, and NPS for accounts where NPS is less than 6. And let's see what happens. Yeah, so now I know I have customer contact, I have account ID, I have average NPS score also. Show customer name as well. And I think with maybe a few queries, like for example, mostly after this one, I kind of have like a good view of who these customers are and who is the person I will reach out to. And maybe I have their emails or their other details, and then I can kind of do a reach out to them, and I can get feedback on my product, and through this unified data I can do that entire workflow very fast. So that's all. This is my demo. Thank you so much.